All right. Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games. I'm here with a live chess stream today. I'm going to be taking on people who come to the stream to play. I'm going to be playing some random people online. One of my goals with these videos is to try to provide some sort of information from my perspective. It's not going to be, top level player, just for a little transparency. My blitz rating is 1283. I do play blitz when I'm not on my A game. That's kind of the bottom line. That's why it's so low. You're going to see I'm not as good in faster time controls. I like to do more analysis. My rapid rating, I think, is a little bit closer to what my actual rating is. It's 1657. It's going up quite a bit here. If you look at sort of the rise here, I think it's catching up to where I'm actually at. My actual USCF rating is right. It's a little bit below 1700, but that's pretty dated. It's like 20 years old. And I haven't played in that long, so I don't actually know what my rating is the bottom line. But I am not an amazing chess player, but I think there's still some things to be gleaned here. The type of analysis I will bring you is targeted for a lower level player. So hopefully you enjoy the video. Hopefully you enjoy the stream. And here we go. Playing against a 12-13 here. I'm going to do sort of the typical king's pawn opening. It's what I play most of the time. Again, getting my pieces out, controlling the center with a goal of castling there. Okay, so this is called the Petros Defense. I personally don't think this is that great, but we'll see. Okay, a lot of people take that. I'm actually not sure what I'm supposed to do when they go like that. I think it's this. Then they go here, I go here, threatens that pawn, goes there. I'm actually just down a pawn there. I'm actually down 2 pawns there? No, I'm down 1 pawn because there's a pawn there. When that pawn is gone, that's a lot more effective. So I'm trying to figure out what am I supposed to do here? Am I supposed to take here maybe? I'm going to try that. I don't think that's right. Basically gave up my only developed piece. What I'm going to do is bring this bishop out now. I don't mind if he takes there. Yes, it looks like it drops a piece, but we just castle. And then we end up pinning the knight. If that knight is here, it wouldn't be able to move because it's pinned to the king. We're threatening this pawn, which sets up some really interesting things with like the queen to here, checkmate. Obviously, the knight is in the way at the moment. But if that knight were to try to take there, we have some interesting stuff there. So I think we just castle, though it is a little nerve-wracking that they have that. I think this is okay. I'm wondering if that's just good also. Just kick that knight out of that spot. That spot loses to the queen. That spot dies to the queen. That spot is actually safe. And then those other 2 spots are sort of where they'll probably end up. But we're just sort of developing. We're up a pawn. Oh, right. We are up a pawn by just nabbing that pawn there. Okay. So the fact that we're up a pawn is pretty big. Really, at this point, all we have to do is hold, and we theoretically win in the endgame. Now, the problem is blitz at this level. I have found, while that is a maxim that is generally true, that when you get up a pawn, you have a big advantage, it hasn't borne out quite as much in blitz. Blitz just ends up being this madness game where anything can happen. I think that is where I would like to go eventually, but my opponent has 2 pieces on that square, so I can't just push to there. I only have this 1 defender for it. I think the answer is just to develop my pieces, get him out. He's hitting this pawn. We now finally are backing that pawn up. Now that the king is castled, this pawn is actually hanging. That would be a pawn. The reason it wasn't before is because when the king was here, I could just put my rook there, and if they're on the same file, that's a problem. But that's gone. What's happening, Rock the Board? Welcome back. Good to see you again. All right, so what is my opponent going to do here? It seems like a weird spot to take this much time. I wonder if they're like really doing some deep tactical calculation. It looks to me like just that's super obvious. Bringing out this bishop is really obvious. I think I'm just gonna. The problem with me making this obvious play is they have that. So I'm trying to figure out. I think probably my best defense is just to push here. Actually, does that end up dropping the bishop somehow? I guess not. I don't. This is a really timid play. I really just don't like that push. I would love to have been able to push there and really control the center and flex my muscles, but like we already saw, that's pretty well guarded. I don't understand what the point is of that move. I guess it's that threatening checkmate. That feels pretty optimistic to me, especially since it sets up this fork here. But you know that fork's not on the table right now. I'm not saying it's on the table at the moment. I'm just saying it sort of sets it up. So that square is weak. I could go like this and just prevent that square. I don't like that though. It kind of weakens my king side a little bit unnecessarily. Maybe that's what I have to figure out. Is it necessary or not? I don't think so. I think I can just reroute this guy like that and just block that square and just say like, okay, now what are you going to do? Though it does set him up to do that. All right, so I am going to do this just because I think this knight being here is uncomfortable. They also have that bishop that can go there. So this just sort of like locks out a whole bunch of different opportunities, but it makes this weakness here. And it also like is a little weakness there. I don't think they'll do that. So I think it's okay. It also always sets up this sack. Like they're always going to be eyeballing the rest of the game. Can I sack there, go there? That's kind of surprising. Why is my computer beeping like crazy? This is really annoying. Okay, now it's time to just get some pieces in the action here. This is pinned, so we can never move that guy. I'd love to set up for that somehow. So how can we do that? I think actually we're going to go like this with the thought that this is pretty reasonable also. Like this guy hasn't moved yet, and that's unacceptable. Like, we gotta get these guys in the game, right? It's like chess 101. Don't leave all your dudes at the bank rank. You play f4. We can't actually play f4 because of the pin. So if we want to play f4, we got to move him over first, then play f4. I agree that f4 is definitely on the radar. It grabs a bunch of space. It does weaken our king a lot, though. That square is completely open then because we did this move. So that would have opened up something like that. It still could open up something like moves there, goes there, goes there, and we'll have a really hard time kicking him out. So because I moved this pawn, I'm a little less likely to move that pawn. Yeah, as Silvertail said, that would create a lot of weaknesses. So that's really interesting. Going there, just willing to say no problem. Let's make this trade. That worries me a bit. Like, why would they rather? Why do they want to trade off one of their bishops here? Is it because they desperately want the queen there? I can't go here to threaten the queen because then that pawn is loose. But I don't have to do that. I could just kick the queen with that move, then go here or here. Like I guess if I take here, then I can't go here any longer. But you know where I can go is there if I really want him over there. We're gonna make this trade just because like that's pretty good. I don't understand what's happening here. Is this sack takes? I don't know. I don't get that trade. I'm just gonna say that. I don't get it. It also allows me to now push, which is pretty amazing. We can't push this just yet. I mean, if we push here, they take, so we would have to protect that. But I feel like we're in pretty good shape now. I mean, we were before, but I think we're in even better shape. I wish we could protect that somehow. We could go here. feels weak, but I guess I don't love the idea of boxing in this f4 pawn. And in fact, we can go f4 now and bully this queen. I think I'd rather go here to set up that. I guess that doesn't set that up, right? Because they still just take. And then because we backed it up with the queen, it doesn't do anything. So that's a little bit annoying. I think we should trade. Let's do it. Let's trade off all the pieces. Why not? I'm with you, man. Let's do it. I'd like to get this bishop in. I guess we're just gonna go here. This feels like a kind of like move, but it's fine. I'm not really sure how we're gonna open up the game, but we will eventually. This pawn is weak. So I guess the problem is this backwards pawn is a problem. Like these two pawns together are kind of an issue that may eventually fall. But I might just be able to go like that. No, I guess they can go like that then. All right, so they're eyeballing that square maybe? That's a really weak place to put your knight, especially when it throws that pawn. I believe that's just throwing that pawn. Unless I'm missing a tactic here. It's possible. It also double guards that square. Like, I don't know. I feel like my opponent has kind of lost the handle on this game. We only have 33 seconds, so, bad things could happen. I guess we're going to go there to cover this pawn. I will admit I didn't see that pawn was loose in all of this, so I am down to 30 seconds. So I do not always play the best when I'm down to 30 seconds. We're going to go here, followed by that, I think. And then because of this pin, I still think that's reasonable. That's still a pin. They can't move and they can't shake this bishop. The pin means this guy's under attack. Okay, so they could break the pin. They break the pin by that trade, which would lose me quite a bit of material. But if I go here, and then they go there, they have to go this way. If they go that way, they lose the game. Right? I guess that check is covered, isn't it? I still think this might be good enough. We'll see. Maybe not. All right, I'll do that. And now we'll just take this file if we can. Yeah, I think they've got the same idea, but I think we could just move like that. They can't take the file this way. They have to take it that way. This is an interesting one. I'm going to go here. They can't double up immediately. I think that's a reasonable move for them. Come in on both files. That's kind of cool. I'd rather double up there. I don't know what that does. That was this very weird play. I'm going to go here, and now I'm protecting that square again. I think that was a mistake. That's very strange. I don't know what they're doing here. So I'm up a pawn, and my pawns are looking better, and my king is better situated. I think we're good. How are we going to burst through here, though, is the question. I don't know. They've got this, but then this is some mess over here. So I have to push through before they get going. If I go there, takes... Not sure I'm supposed to do this. Do I go with the king? I go this way, I guess. I go like that. I'm going to bring the king over here. Because this king is pretty locked out of here. Because these doubled pawns are protecting all those squares. If he tries to go there, I get to go there. I think with the king over here, I handled these 2 pawns without a problem. I go like that. It should be okay. I go like that, so now the king can't get in. I think now I just make a beeline over here for these guys. We should be fine. He goes, I takes, he goes, I take. Think we're okay. It's going to be interesting. We might not be. I mean, we obviously can stop this queen. But the question is, if they just go like that, I take, they take, and then they like, can they come all the way around and be fine? That's a weird move. I think that was a mistake. To go like that. I'm just going to bring my king up. And now my king is back. And they didn't gain anything. They're like 1 square over. It was a big mistake going around. I think they had to just push that guy. I think they would have been fine if they had done that. Now this feels quite over. I mean, I have too much over here. There's no way they're going to be able to make this happen. The king's going to have to back up. Yeah. Wow, they're going that way. That means I get to go like this. And I think I'm trying to figure out how I just do I leave when he takes here. Do I just push there? He goes there, I go there, he's there in time. Then I get to back up with him. So interesting. I might have even played that wrong. This is what I like about increment, though. You know, we would have lost on time in a regular 5-minute game, but I just don't feel like that's fun chess. Like if my opponent beats me, then I want them to win, and if I beat my opponent, I want to have the time to finish it off. I personally don't really enjoy just like straight 5 minutes where the last 10 moves of the game is just people winging pieces around. All right, well, does my opponent have a plan here? So we should do the math here while my opponent is thinking. I think they have to take. If they don't take, I just go like that. And then there's just no way my opponent doesn't lose. So if they take, I go there. They go there. I go there. They go there. We go there. If they try to go like that and take ever, then we just queen out. So they can never contest that setup. And so I think that's the game. And then while they're messing around, bringing their king over, we just take that pawn. And then, like, let's say they take, I take, they make a break for it, I go there. We're just threatening to take that. And then we just kind of come back around and help these pawns. So we should be good. I think this was the right call. It'll be interesting to see if the computer's like, no, obviously that side was the right side, because then it's boom, boom, boom. And in fact, it's quite obvious that we did it wrong. This we should have gone with that side. So let's see. G6 wins. Yeah, exactly. Usually just play 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes is also totally fine. We're going to jump to the end to start because I think it was obviously right that I pushed the wrong pawn. Okay, so there, and then that. Oh, they said that was they actually said this was the best one, and that this was the second best choice. Nope, they're both best. All right, so they're both fine. It's interesting that this one is considered even better, which surprises me because it feels like this is just an automatic win. Like they just can't stop the queen. So I don't understand that. That's just like an automatic win, whereas the other way is also an automatic win, but it's one that we have to kind of fight for. Let's see, where were we? So like here, there, if they go takes, oh, I guess it's just, I just do that anyway, right? Or that. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess either's fine. I go there. They go, what, there. Then I go there. And then it's the same. So we had like a million ways of winning this one. They're like, no. Oh, that's right. We're even covering each of these squares. So, yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. The bottom line is it didn't matter. Every way was winning. All right, but let's see how the... All right, this is the Stafford Gambit. Okay, I didn't really realize that. Okay, so that wasn't book. What am I supposed to do? The normal play is to go there. Okay, and then let's just see what the Gambit, how it works out. They take... I go there, chase them. They go there. We push the pawn. They run all the way back home. Then we go there. They go there. We take. And we're down a piece, but we have a crushing middle. And we have a big lead on development. So, interesting. I don't know that I love that line. I kind of think I like the line that we took better, which was the second best. That's the second line. And in this database, it says white wins 100% of the time. That feels pretty good. And then this is not even on the list. There are 4 acceptable moves here. That, to protect this pawn, makes total sense. This, to protect this pawn, makes total sense. That, oh, nope, not that. This, to kick that guy, also makes total sense. And then this to protect seems like a really weak way to protect it. Instead, I went, which is giving up this if you want. So let's see what happens here. This usually doesn't work out because I go like that. Then I guess they say they go there to break the pin already. I move over. They just run back, threatening this guy. And they should be fine. There's not anything here because we just don't have enough pieces involved. Right? Like we would have to have a lot more pieces to have that actually do anything. So, yeah. I guess maybe we should have just protected that pawn with one of our million options. We didn't. So remember during the game, I was a little bit worried about this guy. What I was worried about was that we make a move, can't make this, that drops that pawn. So let's say we make a regular move. We just go there and ignore this. This is going to end up being a problem. This is a blunder, not for the reason I thought, because they have a different move even. They have that, which puts even more pressure. Now we look at this and it's like, wow, that's actually kind of scary, right? Now they have several guys on that. This guy is still like really eager to get into the battle. That's a little worrisome. So like if we do something like kick this guy, then it just all kind of blows up. And like it's a pretty good position for our opponent. They're just going to be able to castle, get their stuff out, and like they traded 2 pieces for a rook, but they're looking fine. Actually, they didn't even have to trade 2 pieces for the rook. They only had to trade 1 because they brought the queen in. So that's why that's a blunder. So it says just like go here. But even so, this just looks kind of scary. But I think we end up just kicking him out and we're fine. All right, but that's what I was a little bit worried about and at least thinking about. And instead, they castled, and this is a missed win. Oh, I hate missed wins so much. That sign, that minus sign, gives me nightmares. I'm like, what did I miss? So what did I miss? And look at this. It says my missed win is simply that. That is a hilarious move to be like, missed win. How is that a missed win? It says this gives me almost a full piece advantage. So my opponent is supposed to respond to this by going like that, which is suddenly an inaccuracy. That's really funny. All right, that I guess. And now it's even. I'm sorry, it's not even, but I'm up the pawn that I was up. So I don't know what's going on. But apparently, I think the reason it was a missed win is that what it's saying is something as simple as just protect this pawn advantage you have. You're hanging it right now. And by going here, I guess it's not properly protecting it. Because now they have, again, all of that cooking. I guess maybe also if I go here... Oh, I can go there probably. That's probably part of it. So if I go... Oops. If I go here now, and they want to do something like that, that doesn't work quite as well because I have something like that to come in and help out. I think that's what they're looking at there, but whatever. We'll move on. They move to there. Seems reasonable, I guess. Taking, putting more pressure on that pawn. I protect it. They go there. We have a pretty big lead now. It says we're up 2.5. Okay, so this is such an important moment of this game. So remember, I talked about this a lot, and I was like, this feels like such a bad move. It weakens my king. It weakens this square. Rock the Board really wanted to play that, which makes total sense, except for then now it weakens that square. Whereas if we don't make that move, now this move at some point, I'm not saying now, but at some point that move's going to be a really strong move, right? Obviously, we'd have to move the king away. But we completely took that away. And the whole reason is because I was just starting to jump at shadows with, like, now that this dude is here and that they've got all this, I just didn't want this knight on that square. It's really as simple as that. And the computer's just like, what are you doing, man? You've got a giant lead. And according to the computer, we're now equal. Like, that's how bad that move was. That move went taking me from a big lead to you're just equal now. Like, that's how bad that play was. And in fact, I said, at some point, they might want to eyeball this. And the computer's like, no. Not at some point, right now. Right now, they just take and you lose. Not I lose here because I can't take back. But if I take back, apparently I lose. Let's see what the line is. But this is just losing. And that's why. Because of the pin. That pin ends up being very devastating because who's controlling this weak square now that this guy's gone? No one is because of the pin. The queen just gets to drop in right next to the king's face. And it just all blows up. Let's see. So this is not a mate here. They can get a perpetual check, meaning I can't. Actually, they can't even do that. What they can do is that, threatening another checkmate. So now I have to find a way to guard all that. I could swing him out and maybe try to eke my king out there. I don't know that that's going to work. I might guess it's not. Let's see what they say. They say go F4 to cut off that diagonal. Queen just goes to G3. King has to come back to H1. And now look, he's in again, threatening checkmate. So the only move they say is that, and that's game. So we're not even going to look at that move. We're just gonna see like what other defensive plays do we have? Do we have something like this? How bad is that? It is bad. It looks fine. It's covering the square. Queen can't come in and mate, but they have bishop C5 here, threatening what exactly? This is actually covered still. Is it this? I don't know. Let's see. It says I should go D4 to block that. Okay. They take D4. Then I have to go F2 to block this. So what is it? What's happening here? What's the basic tactic that I'm missing? Because it's not that. It's not that. But there is something that I'm missing. I wonder if any of you see it. I don't see what it is. Let's just make a move. Boom. All right, so it's H3 check. Okay. So it's not going there now. It's moving him out of the way. That now everything is being covered. So that's what it is. It wasn't that that's so embarrassing. I was so focused on moving to those two squares for the checkmate that I forgot the basic. That's just a checkmate. No matter what. The only move is that and then that. So the bottom line is, in my fear of this, I completely gave the game up to that. Thankfully, our opponent is also not a great player and is also under time troubles and doesn't see that and makes an even worse play, by the way. Like, my play was at least like a bad play that made sense and had logic to it. I don't know what this is. The only thing I could think of is like, I don't know, because this is already covering that square. So I don't know what this is. Were they worried I was going to make a push there? I don't know what that was, but it was just kind of like, so we're both bad. Cool. And now I have to obviously move out of the way, because otherwise the exact same thing is going to happen because of this pawn pin. But do I move out of the way? No, of course I don't. Let's just play like nothing's going on. Actually, that's funny. They say this is the best line, which actually does work, because now if they do the takes, that's being covered. So we're fine. All right. So I did make the right move. Woo! And then they pulled me out of there. We make some trades. All right. So that wasn't a good move, which is interesting because I like this move. What was my rationale there? It was so that I could free him. Which it looks bad though. Like, anytime you're like, I'm going to put my queen just in front of this pawn for no reason, when that looks like a decent move, that just feels bad. Like, I can see why the computer doesn't like that. The computer wants me to do something like that instead, which I think is quite reasonable. We're still winning by a lot. Like, it's not like that move hurts us. We just trade some more, go to this end game, and, you know, just win in an end game. I'm just taking stuff. Oh, that's a double question mark game losing blunder, I see. I felt like there was some tactical weirdness here that I wasn't catching, because it felt like there was something here with like that, making that looser, or like this is pinned because of that. What is the tactical play? I don't see it. Okay, so it is just takes. Okay, and so it's just that, which is real basic, right? And then now black is actually winning. So that's pretty bad. I gave up the advantage by doing that. Thankfully, my opponent also didn't see it. And suddenly it's like, well, fine. If they're not going to see it, then you win. So now I have a big advantage. And it would have been hard to throw this one at this point. The pawn, like, this is, like, if you lose this endgame, you really need to work on endgames more. That's really what it comes down to. And I'm going to be perfectly honest, I didn't feel as confident as I should have in this. Like, this is a crushing endgame lead. We're up a pawn, and these pawns are just a mess. And it's just, this should be a really, really easy win. That's funny. I debated this one. The reason I went this way is my thought was that I'm coming over and I'm just keeping these guys connected. It's interesting that this is straight blunder. That's a double blunder. What? Okay. Interesting. This is such an awful endgame where it's just double blunders after double blunders. Oh, goodness, how embarrassing. And then we win. Wow. Sometimes looking at your games is soul crushing, but it is important. All right, I just want to see like one of the blunders, what the problem was. Maybe we can learn something about endgames here. So I can see why this was a blunder, right? Like, our pawns are all supporting one another. And if this pawn was here, we'd be even happier. And so I get why, like, that's considered a blunder, right? We're sort of like breaking this for no reason. I had a reason. My thought was that, like, I get to go there and he's just locked out of everything. But I get it. I get that that's a blunder. What was black supposed to do here? I feel like they don't have a way to push through, so almost what's the difference? Why would you call any one of these a blunder? So they say, like, this is a better approach. And then I go here, and then they can push that guy. if we go like that, which is a blunder, then they get to, I guess it's our turn. Let's just say we ignore that and we just go like that. Now, why do you have to get checked? We'll do that. And then, does this make it, or do we get in the square? Yeah, I think that ends up, queening out, right? Because we can't get in the square in time. So, yeah. So, that makes sense that they should have pushed the A pawn to have a better shot at queening out. Why is this a blunder? That's really, in fact, it's such a blunder that it basically takes the game to even. That's really interesting. This is the right move, which also feels weird. Like if they go here, it's even considered a mistake. I take, they take, I just get to come back and take him. No, oh, that's why. That's a huge mistake because then this pawn's just gone. The king can't get back. All right, well, we're gonna move on from that. Silvertail says, I feel like at our level, we don't have a big enough brain to take advantage of those imbalances. Yeah, that's probably true. Jumping at shadows is a new one. I usually hear seeing ghosts. Probably 100% different thing. C7 helps with the queening. C7 helps with the queening. Yes, it would have been good for them to get C7 involved as well. I agree. All right. So that's that game. That was an interesting one. We got the win in a pretty ugly one. The report, you know what? The report says that I was 92.8% accurate. I'll take that. Yes, I had a couple of blunders. I'm really surprised that I didn't get punished more, but it also says 30 times I picked the best moves. That's pretty good, I guess. Yes, Rock the Board, I definitely want to play. Go ahead and send me a challenge, and we'll play one. Oops, we don't want to do that. All right, well, that was a good start. Good start to the stream. I don't remember what Rock the Board's... Oh, he said Rock the Board already challenged me, but it is not coming through that I see. I don't know why. There it is. So we'll play Rock the Board first, and then we'll play Silvertail. So Rock the Board is a 1794. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Top guessers? What? I don't know what that means. All right. So we're playing against a Sicilian. That's right. I think Rock the Board likes to go there, if I'm not mistaken. Does something a little bit unorthodox. I don't remember what it is. Okay, that's right. It was that. It was like this makeshift Najdorf thing that I don't really know any theory on playing that so early. And I don't even know if it's weird. Like, it might just be totally normal and I'm just calling it weird and I'm just wrong and I'm just weird. I'm really thinking about this move this game, followed by this, threatening that pawn twice. Not threatening that pawn twice, but still having this guy buried in here. I guess what's worrisome is something like that to threaten that pawn, leaving that. So does that just not work then? I guess it probably doesn't. I guess that's why no one ever goes in that direction. So then the question is here or here. Against the Najdorf, that square is the normal one. I'm going to go here, though. Put some pressure. I guess the reason not to go here is it takes away f4. So if I had 1 second to do it over again, I probably would have done it differently. Just going to make the obvious move, break this pin. I don't know if it's the right move. I snapped it off pretty quick. This pawn is hanging. It might have just been better for me to take that pawn, actually. It would have ruined my pawn structure, and maybe that would have been fine. I have to think they're going to do either that or that to protect that pawn. They're not. They're going into more of like, let's see you take this pawn. Let's see what happens. Let's see. I take the pawn. They go there. If I'm super greedy and I take that pawn, actually, I take, they take, I take, they take, I take, and then they pin him to my king, and I think I end up losing him. So I don't think that works. I think we just have to get castled here. And that's not a problem. Just do it like that. And then castle, and then maybe we try to chomp on that pawn. But I don't think that pawn is hanging. I think that pawn is trickery. We'll check afterwards. But we'll see. All right. Rock says that my consideration of knight f5 was a mistake. And I agree. I think that would have blown up pretty poorly. It's one of those mistakes that I wouldn't make in a rapid game because I would calculate it out quite a bit if I was going to deviate from theory that wildly. But in a blitz game, you know, I could definitely miss it. I also make some worse plays in blitz because I'm like, whatever, it's blitz. And that's probably not a good attitude. Like I don't think it's probably ever right to play games with the attitude of it doesn't matter if I make a bad move here. I think that's just a bad mindset. I'm going to try to break that as much as I can. I want that like killer instinct of you always have to make the best move, period. We're going to castle next and just get out of the middle here. There's a little bit of me that says, why don't we try castling long this game? Like Sicilian, against a Sicilian as white, you often do castle long. I've got quite a core over here. I mean, like, that's the greatest protection ever. I guess I did just drop a pawn, didn't I? I mean, that guy's hanging. So I am just down a pawn. And I don't love that for sure. I think the answer is to take here. And now they have to move. They can't just slide that over because I would end up taking there. And then I think I can castle and then just move somewhere else. I think we're okay. Trying to figure out where is this queen going to move that's really destructive. That's intriguing. And if I weren't to castle, that would actually be checkmate. But we're on that. Like, it's not going to lead to a checkmate. And I think that's fine for us. That? That's an interesting one. That's like something you could get away with at like 800. I don't think I could get away with that. I don't have any other pieces involved, right? That's the problem. So what am I looking at? I think I'm looking at this. What I'm worried about is that this guy moves away somewhere and then there's check before I can do anything. But I think we're okay. There's also the pin on this, which I quite like. So if this guy moves away, we suddenly have two guys attacking it. I think we're okay. I think we're just going to castle. We're going to be safe. We're tied. I feel like it's a pretty even game positionally. We have a slight edge. Just they've got both of their pieces back. Well, it kind of depends on what they do here, right? I feel like if they go here, then maybe they just have a slight edge. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I feel like this weakness is a pretty major weakness, though. That's kind of important. So if I do that, I think they'll take. If I take, they just go check. And then I'm not going to be able to castle this game. So I think if they go, if I want to go here and they take, I have to just take with the queen. And I still lose the right to castle. So I don't like this at all. No, because I can slide him back. I think I can go here if takes, and then this bishop ends up being there. If I go here, and then they just go there, and I castle, I think we're fine. I don't like this. It feels very... It feels like I'm twisting myself up into a pretzel and helping out my opponent. But I think that's what happens when you don't castle. You know, sometimes you get twisted up because you waited a turn to castle. And that's kind of the bottom line here. It'd be interesting if I sort of look back at the game and see if there was a way I could have done that better. But my position looks a lot worse here. Like, no matter what my opponent does, that looks really good. Although suddenly this queen looks kind of misplaced once I've castled. And these guys are not doing great. So, I don't know. It's an interesting one. Like, if they go here, I castle. Like, that is pretty great. So I feel like they might have to do something like that. And then if I'm castled already, I might just do that. I don't know. It's a tough. This is a tough position to evaluate who's winning. I really feel like it depends on the next two moves for black, what they're able to come up with. I think if I were black, I would go that and look to do that to threaten there and trade that off. I think you don't want to go to an endgame where I have two bishops. Okay, did they call my plan as bad? That's what I'm worried about. I go there. I think we're good. And in fact, if they make that trade, I think we're really good. Oh, okay, I see. So we're going to lose the right to castle. But I think that's okay. Once the queens are off the board, so if I go here, they go here, I can't go that because of the pin. So I'll have to take there, but I think that's fine. I think I can give up the right to castle here with the queens off the board. Because then it actually makes it a little easier for me to go ahead and just double my rooks on this open file. This rook's not getting in the game for a bit. I actually think I'm winning if this trade happens. Oh, sorry. If that trade happens. I think I have the lead. And then if that trade doesn't happen, I just castle long. And I feel like I'm in a really good spot there, actually. So I think I'm doing quite well. This is a good move, saying you're not castling there. But I don't think I want to castle there. I think I just want to castle long. This is an interesting square, actually. We've got this fork, potentially. But we're going to go ahead and castle long. Let's see how this works out. I think we have a pretty good lead here. This pawn is quite loose. It's going to fall at some point, right? It's like I don't even need to worry about making it fall. It wants to fall, right? It's just like hanging out in the middle. That's a really smart play by my opponent. Just like, it is time to get my pieces out. They are not doing anything. I will not win without pieces. So then the question is that actually loose, or does that mangle me? I think that's fine. We'll see. We'll see if I'm missing a tactic here. But I think this is okay. I'm actually going to relocate over to there. So I did miss that as a play. I don't know that that's a terrible play for me or anything, but I wasn't factoring that in. Yeah. I don't know about this. Yes, I've got this, but it's super obvious, and my opponent is just kind of like, okay, fine, like you've got that, but I've got my whole board trained on your king's face. Like, what are you gonna do about that exactly? And that's a good point. And I'm almost out of time, and this move looks really weak. They just, oh yeah, they even do that. Actually, I didn't even think about that. That's way better. But I think I do just get to go like that. And now that could be pretty good. What? No! That was really bad. That was the end of the line. Oh, I hate when I make blunders like that. I totally forgot that the reason they couldn't take there was because of that pin. So by going there, they stopped. They didn't just stop the checkmate, which was super obvious and they were going to stop, but they broke the pin. That was the critical piece. Oh, that's difficult. That's a hard one. All right, so they're going to go ahead and really cement that. I'm just going to push some stuff and do some things and then die. That's a weird play. Let's go ahead and go there. I don't have any idea if that was right. I'm kind of losing track of this game. We still are protecting there. This piece is guarded by 70 million pieces now. I'm going to go... Oh, that drops a guy. I'm going to go there, I guess. 8 seconds left. Got to be moving. Yep, that seems right. Start pushing those. I can't push to there, actually. And I can't bring him over because he would lose to that. Yep, that's important. That was the guard for the checkmate. So we got to bring him back. Oh, boy, and this guy's also on that. So we're going to lose the queen. We're going to lose everything. That's really what it is. We're about to lose everything. I think I should have just pushed there. Yep, so that's mate. And then he comes in and mates. 10 blunders. Wow. That's a lot of blunders. Holy cow. H5 could go as bishop maybe. Oh no, he has a queen, seeing that. Good game. You could win by bishop at one point. I could have won your bishop. I think you must be right, because 10 blunders usually means something was hanging for a while. All right, I just want to check the opening book and see. Okay, so in this position, that is the normal move. All right, good to know. Then you went there. Everything's all pretty much fine and dandy. Yeah, it says I'm winning here by a pretty wide margin for having even material. It says I'm up by 1, and I felt like I was winning by a lot here. Like, this didn't feel like a particularly... I shouldn't say it wasn't a particularly close game, but I definitely felt like I had a lead. I calculated all that out, and that was a blunder. I don't see how that's a blunder. So what was the mistake there? So you should have taken my queen and gone into that endgame. But I disagree. I think that would have been bad for you. And in fact, the computer doesn't think it would be good either. But the computer says this actually puts you down 3, which is... I mean, this does seem like a great position. So let's go back. I mean, look at this. Like, how are we not winning this game? We have to win this game. Like, this feels like a game you can't lose, yet I managed to, and that's frustrating. Okay, so I'm still up 3. It says that's another blunder to put them down 6. This must be a play where I had a tactic and missed it. So let's see if we can find it. So this is a tactics problem, everybody. Take a moment. Let's try to solve this one together. How are we going to solve this? There has to be a tactic here if the computer thinks this is a blunder that puts our opponent down 6. So the immediate things that spring to my mind are this. Maybe this is involved. Because the queen is in the action. There's also this back row mate, but it's being covered by so much that just feels like something we have to immediately discount. So queen doesn't have a lot of escape squares. These are all covered. Oh. Interesting. There's a lot of escape squares that are covered. But that one is open. This one is open, and that one is open. So I don't think it's the queen. What did you... let's see what people found. G4, you think, or maybe not. Rook fork. Rook D4. All right, let's look at Rook D4. Oh, yeah. Rook D4 is crushing, isn't it? Rook D4 hits them both. Queen has to move. Queen doesn't even have that many places to move to either. Does the queen even have a square to move to? that was, I mean, she's all these other ones were covered except for that one and that one. So is this the queen's only escape square? And that was considered not even to be a good move because now we take here. And then the queen is like ridiculously misplaced, is not supported at all. And there might even be a way to trap it down there. And if not, it's going to be a problem. And if nothing else, look at this. Now we have this, right? So this has to be protected. And in fact, the computer says, no, just give up on that. Like, don't even worry about that. That's a lost cause. Bring this dude over to F4. And I think we can see how this is just absolutely crushing, right? Like, there's just whatever the lines are, there's probably 100 lines to win from there. We're up a piece and positionally we're crushing. So that was a big error to not capitalize on. So moving to here is just a huge blunder. And it makes sense, like, in this position, even without the blunder, like let's move this bishop somewhere else. Let's put the bishop, I don't know, here. We're still up by 3. This still looks like a bad move. This feels like that has the stench of desperation. Like our only thought is maybe our opponent won't do that. Like, come on. There's got to be something better here where we have such a great situation where we can just chuck all these pawns down. So the move that we're being offered here by the computer is C5, which I hate in this position. And immediately, by the way, our position, it says here we're up 3. We take their move. We're actually only up 1.5. And I agree that this does not look that great. The computer just makes some trades and suddenly we're not winning by very much, right? They go there, we take, they go here, we take, and yeah, it's bishop against a knight in an open board, but this looks pretty even. Like, we're winning, but I don't know. I feel like this, we have a big lead until we do that. All right, that throws it away. Now it's even. Until our opponent does that, that makes another enormous blunder. Why? What's the blunder? Well, it's the same thing, isn't it? We just go here. Oh, we just go here and fork them once more. So every time we don't see this, we're both going to blunder like crazy. Yeah, I think what it is, Silvertail, is it's only looking to a certain depth. And when you make 2 moves down, it's like, oh, actually, yeah, that doesn't look as good anymore. All right, so again, missed win because we have this move and we throw it away with this dumb move. Our opponent goes here, and in fact, it just says that the black's straight winning here. Not by a lot, but by 0.44. Even though I'm up a pawn, I've put I took this glorious position and put my pieces in such terrible spots that even if I just simply like back away from this, I'm losing now because I've just thrown it away, and this actually loses 6 points. So there's a tactic here as well, which makes sense, right? Because suddenly now our opponent is like they're on the offensive. So I think this is such an instructive position that here feels like a crushing advantage that we just didn't take advantage of. And the computer agrees. We're winning by a wide margin. But then every move that we screw around here and let our opponent develop their pieces and don't do anything and just like move pieces to ridiculous squares, we're just giving our opponents free moves. And the reason we were winning was because we were so far ahead in development and we just gave it away. And we're just like, here you go. Okay, cool. Now we'll have an even game. And then, of course, I blundered here, which was ridiculous. But even so, we had already given away the game. And then our opponent missed a tactic here, which I think is very obviously going to be something with this. What is it, though? Where does the knight go? Yeah, I guess the knight goes here, threatening all kinds of stuff, right? Threatening that, pinned by here. Like, I just totally fell apart at this point. It didn't really matter. All right, so interesting. I really enjoyed that one. Thanks, Rock the Board. Appreciate the game. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take some serious time, I think, to look at this position and see, like, do I have this lead that I feel like I have? Like, I feel like I have a very big lead here. All right, you sent a challenge. Let's play Silvertail. Let's do it. Are you talking about Jake? Are you talking about this sacrifice and you're mocking me, or were you talking about the earlier sacrifice? I'm not sure. I tried tactics since you're so strong positionally. It's interesting that you would say that. I can't tell if I'm pretty strong positionally or if I'm just full of it. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate that you liked my sack here. Yes, it was definitely a sack. Definitely. I'm glad you saw that, Jake, because I don't think anyone's thought it was a sack. Even myself included, I was labeling it a blunder when clearly it was a sack. Oh, cool. That did come through. All right, so Silvertail, let's play one. Silvertail is 930, so my expectations are that, probably he won't be quite as skilled as Rock the board, but we'll see. All right. They know how to play the Open Sicilian. I hope to get to play a Nydorf. So rarely do I get to play a Nydorf, especially against people, like under 1500. Yeah, so they're not playing into the Nydorf, which I think yesterday I said I need to look up this variation because this feels really strong to me, but I don't know how to handle it. Like, I don't know what makes it strong or what makes it weak. I think probably just grabbing this diagonal is the right approach, since that's kind of what they're doing, is looking to load up. And I'm going to try this. Sort of like a dragon type defense. I don't know if this will work. I just kind of like the idea of hitting that diagonal there. We go here. We go here. If this ever moves, there's that weakness just waiting for us. Wow, look at this diagonal. That's really interesting. It's not quite open enough because there's that, but if this pawn were to ever move, then this would be devastating. I guess it's not that devastating because they can just stick there. So maybe I'm just like imagining that there's something here. I'm trying to get better at immediately picking up on tactical alarm bells. They may not be there, but I just kind of want to like start training my brain better to be on the lookout. So we're going for that. If he pushes, takes, that's fine. So they back it up with this guy. And I'm also immediately seeing this, right? Like if I can get a pawn there, there's a fork. Am I going to? Probably not. But I'm just trying to like immediately grab that, file it, and then like it's there. It's something to be thinking about as the game is progressing. An interesting thing is this plus that plus moving back good or bad for me? Is it a weakening on his king, or is it the start of a pawn push on my king? I think it's a weakening for him, but I'm looking at this on that. I think that's what we're going to do. Just developing pieces. I wouldn't be surprised if I did something like this also. Like that, I feel like we can hit the middle of the board quite a bit here. We definitely want to get on this diagonal. This is like the Sicilian diagonal. If you're playing black and you're not on this diagonal, you probably need a reason. This diagonal, that is not a diagonal. That is a file. Do I watch PogChamps? No, I didn't watch PogChamps. Now, I have nothing against it. I think PogChamps is an amazing idea, actually. To bring eyeballs to chess. I'm really excited for it, but it doesn't interest me. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay, so what I'm looking at is that, but I kind of like the idea of having that threat, but this discovery makes this a dangerous square for a queen. So I guess I am just going to go here and like that. Why did you move that knight and not the other one blocking your bishop? This knight will move eventually. Like, this bishop has that diagonal. I'm in no rush I mean, they have 2 pieces on it already. Like I don't think this pawn is actually in danger. And so this knight's well positioned. So that's why I moved that one to get it better positioned. Like you don't want you to leave your knight there. I think that's what you were talking about. All right. And we're both just kind of like developing here. There's not a lot of tactical stuff going on that I'm seeing. I'm wondering, is this, I don't know. It doesn't really do that much. All right. And they took my file. What? How dare you? Don't you know that is the black player's file? Look at this. My brain is just like lighting up with, hey, forks, baby. There's got to be a way to make that happen somehow. I have no idea, but we have both middle pawns, and I'm covering this a million ways. I wonder if there is. I think there's a tactic here. My tactical spidey sense is tingling right now. It might just be because I'm bad, but it might be because there's something there. Let's see if we push here. They could always just push there, lock down any tactics there, make this the worst bishop of all time. That looks bad. There looks like they just take. I take. They take. They still have 2 guys blocking that. I would only have 2 attacking it. Oh, there's such a lot of stuff. What if I go like that and then that? And then they get to push there. That I don't think I have a way to open this up. I think, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not seeing. I'm not seeing the tactic that I'm feeling. So I have those 2 there. I've got those 2 there. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I think I'm just gonna move there, and then get him there, and maybe try to do something over here. Knight G4 looks good. Knight G4. Yeah, I mean that looks reasonable. I suppose the bishop could go there. That bishop doesn't look good there. It also lets me go here to crack open the middle. And I think I would be fine with that trade. That looks like a good trade. It opens up this diagonal. I think the other move is that. This is the move I was first looking at. It does allow them to open up this position whenever they want, but it controls a little more of the middle. I think I am going to take this move. I'm going to see how it works. I think that's okay. And then now this looks pretty solid. If I take, they still will have 2 defenders on it. The queen there. But this diagonal's looking pretty good. I'm a little bit nervous actually to play e6 because I guess they would have a hard time locking it up, right? Because if they push, I just take, and we're just gonna do like a big trade in the middle. And I think a big trade in the middle is pretty good for me with these 2 diagonals. Like my bishops are just kind of like open the middle, man. Do it. Do whatever it takes to open that middle. We will own this board for you. So I think I'm looking at like that. Maybe bring him over. Just to free up this a little bit. I don't know. It doesn't do anything though. Okay. So we will take there. I don't know what this gained us, but it did gain us that. It feels like this is a lot for this queen to be like, I got this pawn, guys. Guys, queen here. I'll guard that pawn. Right? That just, it feels like that's something we should be able to exploit, that a queen is guarding a pawn. That just feels like not the right job descriptions. So how do we do that? Again, if we push, they're just locking up the center. Where does this knight want to go? I think that's really the bottom line. Does he want to go there? I don't know that it would be, I could get him supported there. Here, he can't go out at all. This position is so flummoxing me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to go like this just to open up that file, mainly because I'm almost out of time now. I've just spent so much time in a fairly innocuous position. All right, now they have the third defender of this pawn. They're all in on defending that pawn. I think that's a smart move because it frees up that queen now. The queen doesn't have to defend that pawn. All right, that's a good move. This knight is now doing more. It's defending that pawn. I'm going to connect these two pieces, these guys. They're connected now. I think I'm going to go ahead and try to just use this C file, see if we can get something going. Because I'm really looking forward to analyzing this position because I feel like it was really rich. And I just missed all the richness of the position. I don't know how. Knight wants to go to C4. My knight to C4. I agree, but it's covered. Like, okay, so that's a little bit scary, right? Like, now suddenly they've got a lot trained on my king's. Oh, I think I was supposed to go like that. To sort of lock this down. I think this is the right play. Now they can sack a knight to force this action, but I think I'm okay with that. This looks really bad, but I am planning this. So I'm not giving them the C file. I should have done this first before I took. That was a mistake. I don't think it ends up being an actual mistake, but it definitely was it'll be called an inaccuracy for sure by the computer because that was the wrong move order. It wasn't before? Interesting. I feel like this bishop has been there forever. Like I was definitely looking at that square and it felt like that bishop's been there a long time. All right. I think my opponent's in a similar spot as I am. Like I'm not sure quite what to do here. I would rather have their position though. It feels to me like I don't think they have a legit attack, but at least it looks like they do. And that's a lot more fun of a position to be in than where I am. Like, I feel like that's a really solid looking move. I'm going to go here. I'm almost out of time. If I had more time, I would definitely try to examine their attack more and see if there was a defensive move I was supposed to make there. I don't know if there was or not. I would have moved that guy out of the way to push that pawn to follow in with that pawn, but I don't know. I like the idea that I have the C file now. The question is, can I do anything with it? And I don't know. It doesn't really look like it. Like they're covering all the entry points. So is there a way for me to stop? I only have 28 seconds, so I really need to move in the hopper when it is my turn. I think it's going to be that with the goal of that. Although, is this piece actually performing a critical defensive duty? Like that's entirely possible. Wow, they sure have a lot of pieces on that pawn. That pawn is not hanging. Okay, so they're coming in that way. I'm gonna try this. If I had more time, I wouldn't just wing this out. I have no. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see that tactic. So I should have been all in on how do I make that tactic work. I'm not sure I had a way. This is the only way that I see. Oh, I think I win. Oh, that's a nice way to win. So I'm glad I saw that tactic. Like I just kind of was looking at that as like I could pick up that pawn, and then it was like, oh, the tactic. I feel like my tactics are getting better. I've been doing a lot of puzzles and these rushes to try to improve not just calculation, but like the pattern recognition and just being like just at a glance, there's a tactic there. Now let's calculate what the tactic is, but there's definitely a tactic there. It's something that I'm really striving to get better at. I'm actually going to put out a video that's sort of like what I've been doing to try to get better at chess, which is kind of funny because does it actually matter? Like I'm just a random dude. It's not like I'm one of these people who's like, I lifted my rating by 4 million points in just 1 year. Like that's not, I don't have that as a reason. It's more just if you're interested. I feel like I got to be a little bit wary of those guys. Like in time crunches, Bad things happen to me with knights. I'm just going to be honest. I've lost to a lot of knight shenanigans that I wouldn't have normally lost to, but time got tight, and yeah, bad stuff happened. So I'm going to try to make sure that doesn't happen here. One way is just by keeping my queen all the way over here, right? Like, I don't think they have anything happening here, so I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm going to just queen out a pawn here and see if they can make something happen. I guess I did just lose a piece, sort of. I do get to go here, though, so I'm not sure that I did lose a piece. I think we're okay. I can't see. I'm really bad, actually. I'm realizing at pattern recognition with knights. Maybe I just need to play like some knight-only games or something. I don't know if those exist, but I need to get better at just immediately seeing every square the knight can go to and what the ramifications are of that. That's a real weakness of mine. I think I should be a little nervous that they can get a queen, but I think that's kind of devastating. Like, this trade is quite bad. Unless there's a tactic here. No. Okay, I was really nervous, actually, that they were like, ha ha! You missed my knight move after talking about it. You fool! I don't think it exists. If I go there... I'm just trying to go to a spot where he can't check me, and then I can just do whatever I want. I think we get the knight here with that tactic. Yeah. So now all our opponent has is the beloved stalemate. Dun 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 dun. And I'm gonna do it this way. We're just gonna get a queen. Okay. Good game, Silvertail. That was a really interesting one. I feel like there were some really interesting things. I'm surprised you didn't check the king and then take the knight for free. So I missed a mate in one, and I missed taking that knight earlier. All right. I was kind of happy about that. I have a feeling that I played it very poorly. I think in that really rich position I missed a bunch of stuff, and apparently you're saying that at the end of the game I missed a spot where I could have taken the knight with check. Let's see where that is. That was the blunder. So is this where I could take the knight? Check. No, I don't know. Queen to e4, you think? Okay, I don't know where it is. You're probably right. I was okay. There, they said that was a missed win. So, oh, I had a mate in one. That's embarrassing. That's not a bad play. That's really not a bad play. All right. Well, that was super embarrassing, but whatever. It was time trouble. I was just trying to. The game was over. I was just trying to not lose it. I do want to see this beginning, and then that middle game was really interesting. Okay. So the computer liked my decision. Okay, well, maybe not. I mean, once I go there, I guess. So what is the standard approach here? Is to go there, there. Okay, and then, yeah, to go into that. So that's cool. I'm pretty happy if that's the normal play. That's what we transposed into, so that's fine. The computer doesn't like my position, though. It's like, really? You're down almost a point. And I don't know. I don't feel like this is a great position, but here I kind of like my position, and I'm down 1.4, it says. It really loves your move, rock the board, knight g4. It says I should have done it even earlier. Okay, so the computer agrees with me that I don't have any pushes, but says that this would be good. And I agree. I think that is why white had an advantage here, because this... Oh, okay, yeah. So I was supposed to go here so that they couldn't go there. And once I go here, if my opponent just goes here, remember I was saying this becomes a really bad bishop. This knight is, I mean, can he even go here? Does he get lost? I guess he has like that. The computer says I should go here. I wouldn't be surprised if I had gone there. Just because I was a little nervous, I was getting trapped up there. And this looks pretty bad. So like this move was big, and my opponent didn't make it, but I let that happen over and over. Okay, I finally do stop it, which is good. That's fine. And now it says it's even. And I agree. I feel like this is a really even position. I kind of feel like I have a slight advantage because when we trade off, I'm going to have the diagonal. Definitely a mistake going there instead of h5 first. But I think we end up in the same spot. Actually, that... Now it says our... No. It says this is even, which does make sense. It says that this move was quite good, actually. And it's because there's a pin there. And then we're going to be able to go like that. And what are they going to do? I imagine they do have a way out. Oh, it's just a trade. They just move, right? Like, they just go there and they're like, okay, trade if you want. Okay, whatever. So we go there. Oh, that was a blunder? How is that a blunder? That is really interesting. That does not look like a blunder to me. The computer says we should take with him, which I don't like at all. Like, where is he going now? This seems terrible. So that tells me there's a tactic here that I didn't see. So let's see if we can find the tactical thunderbolt here. And there might not be one, but I just feel like there must be if the computer is going to say it. This is a 2.25 advantage for white. So what was the queen protecting? The only thing the queen was protecting that it's not now is like that and that indirectly. So was there some sort of sacking, like maybe a push here? Nope. That was to think something like that. Sack here? No. All right, so they say queen here, just setting up a really vicious attack there that then we have to defend. And is it defend with queen? Yeah. So I guess that makes sense that there wasn't actually a dire. Actually, there is a tactic. They win the pawn. Okay. Whereas if we take with this, now the queen is defending both simultaneously. All right. So that does make sense. Yeah, Rack the Board saw it, that d6 is going to end up dropping. So that's where the problem was. Okay, so we go here, and then they don't see it either. They're sort of like, I have an attack here, I'm going for it. Okay, so that was considered quite bad. Like that's utterly game. Oh yeah, it's utterly game losing because of that. And so then that's the game. So we don't actually need to look any farther than that. But so even from here though, it's pretty even. It says the best move that white has here is just going to e2. So just dropping the knight back and relocating ends up being their best approach, and this is basically just a dead even game, which makes sense. We both have the same type of pawn structure over here and in the middle. Theoretically, I would have the advantage because I have the two bishops in the endgame, which is really strong. The problem is the position is really closed. So, and I don't have a real good way of popping it open to take advantage of these two bishops. So I would say, like, generally my problem with this game is that I had these two awesome diagonals and they never opened up, and I just wasn't able to pry them open. And had I been able to, I feel like I have a crushing advantage. But because I wasn't able to find that way to pry them open, I wasn't able to take advantage of those, what potentially were well-placed bishops, but were also potentially really poorly placed bishops when things like this happen. I mean, assuming that pawn's not there when it was back there. That just seals it up, and then this bishop becomes like the worst bishop ever. So, interesting stuff. Thanks for the game, Silvertail. I feel like that was quite an instructive sort of middle game spot there. Would anyone else like a game? If not, I've got time for maybe one or two games against a random person. You're down for another. Go ahead, Silvertail. I'm happy to play you. Or I can just click rematch. I think there we go. All right, Silvertail is coming again. We'll see what we end up doing here with the E4. Just a Roy Lopez. I've been spending a lot of time sort of slowly trying to improve my... Okay, so this is the Berlin defense. The Berlin defense is... I go here, and this... Black has the opportunity to trade down like right away into an endgame. So we'll see if... I imagine Silvertail does not know the theory on it. I am supposed to. I have learned it with Chessable. I don't think I've fully gotten it. Let's see. I believe the move order to get to that endgame would be something like takes, pushes there. I really would need Black to play their part of it for me to be able to come up with it. The question is, do I just go, whoops, do I just go here and take that? I'm not sure that, does that work? And then they take here, and then I go there. Yeah, let's do it. I feel like this is pretty good. And this may actually be, ooh. Yeah, so that's sort of like the standard trappy thing. So I guess that didn't work. That I didn't have the move order quite right on that one. So they get the pawn back, which is fine. We've got this. All right. Actually, they might not get the pawn back. Because now that, well, I mean, we don't even do that. we just got the queen. Yeah, so let's see what happened there. Silvertail, I'm going to take your challenge in a moment. I just want to see real quick what the Berlin, just how does that trade down into that sort of super standard endgame? I'm trying to remember what happened. So yeah, that was the mistake. The endgame, what is the endgame? All right, yeah, so the endgame is like that. I go there. You go there. Then I think I take, you take, I take, you go here, I take, you take, and I think I go here. Oh, no, I developed a piece. And then it says you go here, but whatever. But this is the end game. So this is a really standard opening for Black. It's a pretty even opening. It's like a lot of Black play. Let me rephrase this. A lot of really top level players, when they're playing Black and really aggressively seeking a draw, will go into this line because it can be Black has the option to make it pretty drawish. And sort of the point is that White has a slightly better pawn structure because they've got the 4-on-3. And then the 4-on-3 over here involves this double pawn, which is much harder to push through. Like, theoretically, this is a pretty easy thing to push through. But then the trade-off is we're in a wide open game, and Black has two bishops, which are really powerful in tandem when you know how to use them well. I'm not sure I do. But that's sort of, this is like the super standard Berlin game that you enter into. I mean, it's like not all that realistic that Silvertail and I were going to... What just happened? It's not all that realistic that Silvertail and I were just going to end up in that endgame. Because it's, you know, it's a blitz game with people who don't know all the moves perfectly to get to that endgame. But Silvertail, it happens, man. Blunders happen. Blunders happen. All right, so we're doing this again. Last time I did that and it seemed fine. I think we'll just do this again. This time I will get that in earlier. It seemed like it was a really big problem to not get that in. It'll be interesting to see if both of us can kind of improve our play having had a chance to look over it. Because we're really running down the same game. Although I'm playing it similarly, but Silvertail's like, what are you talking about? I'm gonna play this thing totally differently. We're not playing the same game. Are you kidding me? So this will be interesting. I'm pretty sure we have to take here. Okay, now the question is, does the knight go here or here? It feels like that is the square for him. If we go here, let's get rid of all these marks. If knight goes here, that happens. Knight has to move. So if we're going to put knight here, this definitely has to happen first. Also, that pawn is hanging. And so this is one of those things where I don't even know how many moves this pawn has been hanging. Let's see. It's been hanging for the whole game. No, not the whole game, but for 1, 2 moves. Because it kind of doesn't look like it should be hanging, my intuition just ignored it. But no, this is hanging, and I don't think my opponent gets anything for this hanging pawn. That feels like just a straight hanging pawn that I get to take. Mainly because I get to take it with tempo in addition to everything else. I'm attacking, so I'm not even really losing development. Yes, they develop a piece in this trade, but I think we're fine. Like, I'm guessing they're going to be eyeballing that, but I don't think that's strong enough. Yeah, I think we're going to be fine. This is a little worrisome. I might have wanted to delay that actually to try to get them to castle first, because now that is an attack, right? That's a real attack. But my opponent is in the middle of the board, and we might be able to exploit that. Queen e5. I'm not sure when Queen e5 was an option for either of us. The last game? Oh, you meant Queen d2. I was like, what? Yeah, and that's what I was saying. I think this was a mistake, actually. I think this could actually be like a game-losing mistake to have tried to castle that early. In fact, wait, isn't this game-winning? Checks. Yeah, that's game. So I saw the tactic, but boy, it would have been nice to see that tactic on time and not a turn too late. So I'm proud of myself. I saw the tactic. The training is working, but the training would be working better if I could see the tactic in a more timely fashion. All right, that's frustrating. That is frustrating. I think I'm gonna go this way and try to bring over another defender. Yeah, I agree. Rock the board. That's I wonder if I could have actually tried to recreate it somehow. Is there a way to? No, I don't think so. I can't kick that pawn. Oh well. Oh, actually, they want to push that pawn. Look at that. They pushed right into the tactic a second time. So this is still here. And that's true. If they missed it the first time, there was a decent chance they were going to miss it again if their whole plan is just come down here. And maybe it's worth it. I don't know. Like this queen. I feel like this probably loses. This guy was pretty critical for the attack. Oh, okay. Never mind. That's actually not a tactic. I think I'm okay with this trade. It does develop yet another piece, but I don't think they have a real attack without the queen here. I think we're pretty much fine. I'm going to go here. And if they go there and there, then this file's open and I'm golden. Queen d2 remains the defense. Queen d2. Oh, you were saying Queen d2. Yeah, you're right. Queen d2 definitely defended. I missed that. I was so excited too. I was like, yes, the tactical work is percolating, and then it was like, sort of. Like, it was good that I saw that, but it wasn't actually legit. So is this good? I think we just take here, actually. Just whatever. We're up a pawn. I think I can just move this guy, take the file. King's in the middle of the board. I think we're fine. I don't even think king safety is an issue anyway, but maybe I could just go like this. That looks a little scary, but I don't think they can make that happen. I guess if I go there, and they go there, and then I go there, then they go there and laugh hysterically at how foolish I am. So I guess I can't do that, actually. And this doesn't look great because I don't like that. I'm feeling a little twisted up here, to be honest. I guess I'm just going to go here. I hate this move. No, I can't go there. That pawn hangs. So we're going to go... Wow. I have to make some really slow moves if I want to hold this together. Maybe I just go like that, though. I just make this bishop terrible. Sure. I wonder, though, if that's good. I think that's good for me, actually. I push there, and this bishop's free. Intriguing. That pawn. A lot of interesting things happening here. I guess I'm going to take here and just say I don't think this is a real attack. We're gonna see if it is. We're gonna see if indeed this is a real attack, and I'm not respecting it enough. But I just don't see it. I feel like they're pretty far away from like making that a real attack, because this confluence of pieces just doesn't seem like enough to me. I have, enough defenders over here. I don't know. I'm just not buying it. Not buying what he's selling. What I am trying to figure out is if this is a good move. Okay. Well, I mean, they got another piece on the attack. That's good. I'll buy a turn. I don't think that's legit. I feel like that probably just loses instantly. Maybe that's bad for me and it seals off. Like, maybe this is just terrible. Because I don't really gain that much from it. Maybe I just kick him before I start moving him. Where does he go, though? No. Yeah, so he's going to go there. And then he's going to relocate to there. If I go there, he goes there. Then do I go there? Opening up that diagonal. Ooh. That doesn't look good. I don't know. Maybe we don't. Maybe we're dead. I don't know. I'm going to go here and just nab this pawn. Looking at that. I'm interested. I'm interested to see if Silvertail can be like, yeah, no, I have I have a real attack and you're just not seeing it well. Oh, yeah, D4 might be a problem. Actually, I didn't realize this. That might just be good. That might be game, actually. They take. I can also just go like that and then take. I think that might be fine, actually. I think this is fine. It makes my king even looser, but with more pieces coming off the board, it just doesn't look. This attack, it looks very innocuous now. Like, I don't even think it is an attack anymore. The issue, though, is that this is an absurdly bad bishop, and that pawn is weak. That's more the issue now. And they do have an opportunity to just kind of like take that file and do some things. So I'm probably gonna have to do something like get him out that way and that. I think we're fine though now. We're up 2 pawns. that pawn's actually hanging with check if they let me do that, followed by that. That would be game, I would think. So I think they have to maybe that. Seems like the best option. And then in doing that, I think it lets me untangle my position. And it's not... That's intriguing. Followed by that. Followed by escape. But pin. If I go take that pawn. I go here. He goes there. I go there. That guy's in danger. Let's do it. Let's roll the dice. Roll those dice. Bring him back. Bring him back. And now I think they have nothing. I wonder if that was better. Not sure. Maybe that's the better escape, actually. I was thinking about coming out. I think that's the way to go. I think we're fine here. I think now the attack has sufficiently petered out. I think I get to go like that. Okay. Maybe that does work. I wonder if that's scary, actually. Okay, now we're fine. But I wonder if they had gone like that first. Would that have been a real problem? Are we not fine? Are we dead? Takes. So I'm looking at this. Takes. And we're good. I think this works. I hope I'm not missing something there. Oh, yeah, I am missing that. That's why that didn't work. And I can't go that way. That doesn't work. Oh, I guess I lose this piece. Let's make some moves before we lose this piece. Okay, I still think we're actually good here. I think we're up by so much material that we're fine. It is funny though that that guy's just uber trapped. But we're gonna come protect him. We're gonna come put a second protector on that guy. That's kind of funny. Ammo. We got 2 protectors. He's got to go over there, and then we do that. We do that. No, it doesn't work though, right? Yeah, it's fine. We get this piece. Woo! That was nice. That was a way to work out of that. Like that looked a little scary for a moment there, but we worked our way out. All right, now we should just be golden. Oh my. Yeah, that was an interesting, fun one because it was like we're so far ahead, and then it was kind of like that attack kind of brought some scares in with it that I didn't think were coming. So let's take a look at how this because this game went quite a bit differently. Silvertail decided to take a different route here in that play. And then that was the mistake because it's hanging the pawn. And then I was like, whatever, it's a hanging pawn. Who likes hanging pawns? Oh, wait, I do. Just took me a moment. And then that was a blunder. So what's the tactic? Immediately my mind's like, if this was a puzzle, this is the tactic, right? Like, but it's not a puzzle. This is real life. So is that the tactic? Let's find out. It's a big tactic. It's 5 points. So there's definitely a tactic. It's not positional. We also have that, but that's backing up that. Come on, Kevin. Where are you at here? There's also this. So there's a lot happening here. There's one of these has to be vulnerable if we can. I think we're going to have to distract a piece. So this is being guarded by him. This is being guarded by him. So like that makes it he can't move to guard that. But that's a pretty minor tactic because they could just swing him out and that guy's no longer vulnerable. I'm I'm not looking at the chat because I don't want to know yet, but I have a feeling you guys have it because I saw it scrolling out of the corner of my eye. So you guys all have it. And I'm just the slow person who can't find it. There, blocks there, nothing. No way to remove him. But I'm not seeing it. All right, what is it? Let's see if somebody has it. I saw it already and I just missed it. I had your bishop and rook fully stopped, so I thought I had something, but I messed it up. All right, yeah, queen into check and then knight trade, right? Let's see. Queen into check. Yep, duh. What a bonehead. All right, like that, like that, like that, like that. Oh, that is so bad that knowing it was a puzzle even I couldn't find that. Oh my goodness, it's time to retire from chess. My brain doesn't work well enough apparently. All right, so another blunder. It's still there. Exact same plays there. I guess it must not be if this is good. So this isn't there anymore? I go there. He blocks there. Yeah, because the knight moved. Right? Yeah. Okay, there's where it is. All right, so we go there. He takes. We go there. That's a little scary. That was fine. Also says queen to here, threatens that, threatens that. Yeah, how would that have worked? Is that just... Yeah, no, this is just a huge lead. Like this is a really... This is a really big lead. And it's not just because these pawns are falling, but like things are kind of vulnerable now. I'm really safe. There's a lot going on here. So this is just a big lead positionally with some tactical play as well. And even this is still a pretty big lead. It says I'm up 4. Then we do that. That was a mistake. It's supposed to be king. I agree. So this is such an interesting one. I totally see why Silvertail takes here, right? It's two things. It's now I can still castle and I'm developing a piece. How could that be bad? Like that's obviously got to be right. But we are getting like heading into an end game, and so actually taking there and then being able to go like here, here, here also looks pretty promising. So that's interesting. That's not a blunder, but it's an inaccuracy. That's an inaccuracy also because why not just nab this pawn, and then that's weak, and then they have to go like that. I don't know. That's a mistake. I can't believe they just called it an inaccuracy. That just feels like a straight up blunder. And that was the move I really liked. This move is the like tangle me up in knots move. I'm winning by a ton according to the calculation, which is really interesting to me because I feel like this is more even than that. I think the reason why I'm winning by so much is because this is a pawn that's isolated in the middle. I've got the 2 bishops. We're in the end game. It's an open board. Theoretically, like this guy comes out and now these bishops go wild. That pawn drops. The whole middle's open. I just send my... Wow, this is a lot of arrows. Once that guy's gone, then these pawns just go wreck. So I think that's why I have a 4.5 lead here. And that does make sense. But this move did look good. It kind of messed with me, right? And then I made a bad move. Again, the pawn is just hanging and I ignore it. And then I finally take it with pin. All right, so that was interesting. That's a move that looks great at first. Like if this tactic is not here, I really like that move. The problem is that tactic. Whoa! That's a double blunder. Oh, okay. So I'm wrong. All right, so king takes. I take back. And then there's a tactic here. There must be, because no, it's even. Okay. So the point is that this blundered even more than just that. I had an even better play. And I guess, what is that play? Is it like, maybe it's that? Because then now both of these guys are being attacked. Let's see if we can find this tactics puzzle. I think this is it. I think it's bishop there, threatening him, and then threatening that. And then they can't get away. I mean, this is also hanging. but then they just move away. So it must be this. Like this is a pretty clean board where there's not a lot of tactics to even be had. You can still take the pawn now before he castles. Yeah. All right, so this must be it. Yeah, and that is it. This is the move. Instead, I go here. And I thought I was a genius, too. I was like, yeah, what a sick move. They made a great move, and I countered it with my own good move. And then that was the beginning of the end, I guess. Because I get to go there, check. They move. I take another pawn. Now he's in danger. Which apparently this was the best move, to let me just take there. Because it sets up that pin. But so here we have a crushing lead. So even though I'm dropping this piece, I'm up 7.4, because if nothing else, like, that's a win. There's no way our opponent can stop that. And now it's just, there's this, even without my little trickery of protecting this guy, this game is just done. Interesting that right here. Oh yeah, I missed that, right? Like, this would have been great. They take, I take, and that's a great move for me. I missed it. I think I get it later though. Every turn the computer's like, are you serious? And then now I'm like, yeah, no, look, because the king moved onto the white diagonal, I have this genius move. And it's like, dude, you had that move for 3 turns. What are you doing? All right, and then we win. All right, so that was a little annoying to see. All right, good game, Silvertail. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed especially the part where you made the cool move, and then I had the cool move, but I had an even better move. So I thought that was a great move, Silvertail. When you first did it, I was like, that's the move. And then there's actually 2 tactics against that move. So interesting stuff for sure. Well, hopefully you all enjoyed the stream today. I'm going to have to call it a day. Time to go make some dinner. Yeah, but thanks for coming by, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something, even if it was how to not blunder, like I did several times. But I'll see you next time on the stream, and have a good one, everybody. Bye.